A dispute between the Nigerian leaders could jeopardize plans for the return of some of Africa's most famous artifacts, the Benin bronzes, which were looted during the colonial era and are now mainly in Western museums, as written by Barnaby Phillips, a former BBC Nigerian correspondent. The bronzes, thousands of metal sculptures and ivory carvings, were seized from the West African Kingdom of Benin in what is today Edo State in southern Nigeria by a British military force in 1897. In Europe, their beauty and sophistication caused an instant sensation, and they are widely regarded as amongst Africa's greatest artwork. In recent years, as European governments have come under pressure to atone for colonial era crimes, some have spoken of their desire to return looted artifacts. In April, the German government said it wanted to give back hundreds of Benin bronzes, and several museums in the UK have made similar announcements. The return of the Benin bronzes to Nigeria would mark an extraordinary moment in Africa's post-colonial history and is a prospect that seems more likely now than at any time since 1897. But when the king, the Oba of Benin, Oba Ewari II, summoned all well-meaning people to an emergency meeting in the Edo capital of Benin City earlier this month, it was not in celebration. Hundreds answered to the Oba's calls and assembled in peace, dressed in handsome robes, singing his praises. Ewari II, the great-great-grandson of the Oba who was toppled by the British in 1897, warned of an attempt by what he called an artificial group to divert the return of the bronzes. This group, the Legacy Restoration Trust, LRT, had the support of the Edo State Governor, Governor Godwin Obaseki, and had planned to put the bronzes in an Edo Museum of West African Art, MOA. The Oba made his opposition clear. The right thing and only legitimate destination for the bronzes would be a Benin Royal Museum, he said, seated within the palace ground. He insisted that the bronzes had to come back to where they were taken from, and that he was the custodian of all the cultural heritage of the Benin Kingdom. The Oba's argument is compelling, but awkwardly his son and designated heir, Crown Prince Ezekiel Ewari, attends the board meeting of the LRT he professed to know nothing about. So, Nigeria's National Commission for Museums and Monuments representing the federal government. Governor Obaseki had convinced a celebrated architect, Sir David Ajayi, to design the new museum, bringing prestige and a wave of positive international publicity to the project. Although the Oba now wants anybody dealing with the LRT, they do so at their own risk and against the will of the people of the Benin Kingdom. He must worry it is already too late. The British Museum has signed a deal with the LRT for an archaeological project in Benin City. The German government is discussing doing the same and funding an LRT building to initially house restored bronzes. These contracts are worth millions of dollars. British and German officials as well as other Europeans, embrace the trust in part because they believe it and the Oba were working together. So how did it come to this? The accusations being traded are not pretty, of individuals allegedly more interested in financial gain, either from the bronzes themselves or the contracts around the new museum, than in rectifying an historical injustice. However, a German government official told me, those who think there's money to be made from this museum are mistaken. A museum is somewhere you spend money, you don't make it. None of this is good news for those who dream of the bronzes going back to Benin City. An Edo historian involved in discussions with European museums told me the dispute between the Oba and the governor has sent a chill through all of us. The director of a European museum, which has a large collection of bronzes and has previously spoken in favor of their return, told me, our policy is that if claimants are in dispute amongst themselves, we wait until they resolve it. The University of Aberdeen in Scotland said earlier this year that its museum would give back a Benin bronze head unconditionally, but in the wake of recent events, the museum's director, Neil Curtis, told me He would be very uncomfortable if this return occurred without agreement among all parties in Nigeria. Nigeria's federal government has legal responsibility for the return of any Benin bronzes and, it says, will ultimately take possession of them, although the Øpard supporters stress he would never concede on the question of ownership. The Director General of the government's National Commission for Museum and Monuments, Abba Issa Tijani, told me the dispute between the Øpard and the governor was a private matter between them, local politics that cannot slow down restitution. He suggests a compromise whereby Benin bronzes return to various museums within Benin City, including one within the palace grounds, as well as the more ambitious Emoa outside its walls. Some European museum curators blamed the German government for pushing ahead with bold announcements on the return of Benin bronzes before they'd confirmed that everyone in Nigeria will align on this sensitive issue. A German official conceded they had moved quickly in part because of domestic political concerns, but more importantly insisted out of a sense of what was morally right. An ally of Governor Obaseki said, "Nothing happens in Nigeria without drama. I'm still 95% certain we can work this out." Victor Ehi Kiameno is an acclaimed artist from Edo State and an outspoken advocate for the return of the Benin bronzes. He is also on the board of the Legacy Restoration Trust. When I spoke with him recently, he remained upbeat. "We didn't expect this process to be a catwalk," he said. "Colonialism yoked us together. We just need to speak with one voice." Wow, all of this is coming from Barnaby Phillips, a former BBC Nigerian correspondent. He's writing right now because he believes the dispute regarding the Benin bronzes might eventually jeopardize the return of this artifact. But one thing that has been cleared so far is that the Oba of Benin and Obaseki, there is no reef between them. They don't have any reef, as against what was stated here that they have some reef. There is nothing like that. We know very well that there's nothing like that. It's just that the Oba of Benin stated his position that he doesn't want the artifacts to go to the Emoa. He wants them to be situated, to be sited in the Benin Royal Museum. Well, after the Oba of Benin stated his position, we know Obaseki did not argue. All he stated was that he will seek the audience of the Oba so that they can both be on the same page. Well, we'll see how all of this goes. All we are hoping and all we'll want is that this artifact they return back to the people of Edo State. Well, guys, let's hear your thought down below in the comment section. Thank you once again for staying tuned. Please don't forget to like, share, and to subscribe till I come your way again with more updates. Bye.